literally blink into the middle of the 5 heroes, but blink into the proximity, so you start dealing with static field damage. And I mean, again, Navi just thinking completely outside the box here. This is the first pick of 3 of these heroes in the tournament. Zeus, Silencer, and Alchemist have not been picked yet in the last 2 days, and they just brought 5 new picks into the tournament in 2 games.
Flat looking good there on the Russian stream.
Thank you, production.
I was working on our screen before. Are we coming back to this or not? Alright, I guess we're going with Flat for now. We'll try to run through the rosters here as Dendy is running in place. Okay, now he's fixed. And we might have an early clash. Havost and FNG towards the top lane. 5 hero rotation from EG. They might even dive this. No, they're going to rotate down. And I guess we'll run through our rosters. Arteezy going to be playing your Death Prophet. PPD on his Abaddon. Fear handling that Venomancer. It puts Universe onto the Jakiro. And Zai handling the Wraith King. Meanwhile for Navi, it's a Dendy Zeus. It's a Havost Silencer. Alchemist and Skywrath handled by FNG and Vangscore, and that leaves the Batrider, your Funnick signature, as the linchpin of this draft.
Yeah, hopefully you regain.
Are we back now?
Control.
Okay,
nice.
We're back.
Okay, here we go.
Sweet.
It's weird. I don't know how this is happening so often, but it's a little bit strange. Well, regardless,
The video switcher has a mind of its own, apparently.
The lanes are shaping up, and as a matter of fact, it will be both a core Veno and a Jakiro, which we talked about was a possibility, not necessarily that likely, but EG are all in on this. They want to push really early, and this is one of those games for me where I feel like the majority of the story will be played out in the first 20 minutes, because should Navi be able to play evenly, the late game potential of EG's lineup I feel like is pretty weak.
They do have Death Prophet Wraith. Wraith King can be scary if he gets super stacked.
True, it is Zai, and I believe Zai, no kidding, I think he's 14-0 on this hero in competitive play. I think I saw it earlier today. 100% win rate, 40 in games. So, with that in mind, EG should statistically just win the game based on that, but
why don't we just go to game 3? Like, we're wasting our time here. It's late.
it might be the most impressive win streak for any player with any hero.
That is a crazy
Ever.
number.
Like, if
That's
it is
crazy.
true, I didn't check it after that, but it was part of the Starlighter stats, I believe. 14-0 is absurd.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's won the majority of his games, and he's kind of found, like, those little tweaks that make Wraith King scary. I remember I forget how long ago it was, but there was a game where he was about to die, and for so long it was just, okay, you run Wraith King, just skill your ult at level 6. And he didn't skill it, because he knew he was going to die anyway, and that ult has a 4-minute cooldown early on. And a little bit longer. I think it's, 260 seconds total? I believe is the number. And then he had it for the next fight, so it's those little touches that really make a hero your signature. But with that said, let's kind of walk through our lanes here, Sin. The off-lane Jakiro of Universe has been forced into the jungle. He's working together with PPD for this. Arteezy gets incredibly aggressive in the mid lane. He did spot an invis picked up earlier by the Skywrath, tried to make a play mid, didn't happen. Funnick has also abandoned his offlane, but he's jungling quickly. Hits level 2 already, works towards level 3, whereas the Jakiro of Universe not even level 2 yet, already 2 minutes in. Zai also roaming, so the early experience seems to be going the way of Navi, and they're going to have a little skirmish here in the river. Regen picked up by PPD. Funnick's going to jump onto him. Are they actually going for this?
This is very aggressive.
No, not any further.
Doesn't even have Firefly ready. There was some turnaround potential there from EG if they could pick up on that. But Universe is level 1 with Liquid Fire only, so actually never mind. They have no way of slowing him down. So,
but they are free farming their Silencer, and that's the trade for a Veno. So looking at like the overall trades, mid farm fairly even early on. Slight lead for Arteezy as you'd expect. Both offlaners in the woods, a little more for the Bat, and a Silencer's farm traded for Veno. How do you feel about these exchanges overall?
For me, it favors EG, because the timing window of the heroes is just better, having early farm on Fear. It's why I was a little bit hesitant for Navi to put the Silencer in the core position here, because I feel like the point when he's going to peak, it's either going to be, it's probably, if he gets free farm, his peak, I don't know what we could say that is. It's a little bit of a tricky hero to call in that sense, but he'll probably go Axe Refresher. And the point you have that is not before 25 to 30 minutes into the game if you have extreme farm even. And that's about the time that EG will have looked to take the tower. So until then, his main purpose is to use Global Silence, and they could have got that out of a support Silencer too.
Top lane, Universe dropping low to Havost here, continues to throw out those glaives. Sorry, not glaives, just the auto attacks. But he's gone for the level 2 curse, as well as the level 2 last word. A lot of nuke damage for him early on. he put a real hurt in the universe. If that Abaddon's not there, that's probably your first blood picked up solo by Havos. And this is only an early laning silencer. He can dish out the damage later. So, Fear farming well towards the... I imagine we'll see him rush the mech, probably
yeah,
Arteezy. Yeah, towards the drums, the phase, and the Yule Scepter, so the standard items. It's just, do they get them quickly and do they avoid collateral damage along the way? Like Zeus pickoffs, global silences, and the Alchemist smoke ganks. Can they dodge those bullets while they kind of gear up for war? So far, so good.
Yeah, that's another thing that Navi's lineup are, well, it's actually fairly decent, to be honest, at ganking if they run it like this, but they've chosen to put FNG in the offlane and put Batrider in the jungle. And when you do that, the Alchemist Skyrath combination is actually pretty potent for ganks, but they're not running it that way. So because of that, EG are farming very safely. They know where exactly where all the Navi heroes are right now. Even the ones that are off the map, it's completely obvious what's going on. So EG can just plan around it, whereas on the flip side for Navi, they don't know exactly what EG are doing. In the bot lane, Zai is showing right now though, so this makes it clear, but he has a smoke on him. He's now going to go into the jungle, and this does give kill potential either in the mid lane or maybe even the full rotation.
He's going to TP mid.
Yeah.
And he looks for the kill on Denny, but Denny sits pretty far back in this lane. Zai will really have to charge in. It is nighttime now, so the vision's a bit restricted, but FNG's in the neighborhood. Will Zai go for that smoke? They do. No dire vision of this. Where do they go? Towards the top lane. Haste Rune pop by Arteezy. No more runes will be spawning for 50
they're looking
seconds.
for the Batrider. They see him with the ward.
They will find funding. Oh, man. Oh, that's costly. Nice pickoff for Arteezy to start it. But the turn potentially coming here on Universe, dropping low to some nukes. Not quite able to finish him off. And they rotate onto top. Arteezy has Exorcism.
I don't think
they're not done just
coming. He's not expecting them to come even further here.
And if they get a Wraith King stun, he's pretty much dead. Great reaction from
what an ice pass!
But the Ice Pass still comes in. The score was quick, but EG just had too many heroes. And they're able to get 2 kills off of that rotation early. And they slow down the Bat Blink, and he is their only initiation right now. So, well, will be their only initiation.
Yeah.
Not ready yet.
This is the absolutely worst scenario for Navi early on. They are very predictable in their movement right now. The call to give FNG levels, I think, is a pretty good one, but it comes at the cost of...
Dandy just turns around on Arteezy mid lane. He got backstepped by Zai, and he just throws out a lightning bolt. Then he walks up to the high ground. He will die. It's an Exorcism used, but they get a kill on a mid, so well worth it for them. And they may even push in this mid lane a little bit, do some chip damage towards the tower. Everything going well. They're fighting without fear. He's free farming bottom now. And what started off as an even game is now a 1,200 gold lead for EG. Not overwhelming. And about 1,000 experience lead. But they do get their Midas at a decent time for Havost.
But that's just, again, it's for the Ags Refresher, that build will come earlier than if he didn't have the Midas, but it delays his overall impact in the next 10 minutes. And once again, that's just where EG are looking to take off. Fear is now going to get the bottom 2-1 tower. Universe has joined them. He has level 3 Liquid Fire right now. Zai is hanging off to the side. Navi are in a lot more trouble than the graphs suggest right now. I think this is a very scary early game where I'm not seeing the solution yet.
They are definitely going to lose more ground. If it's going to get better, it won't be for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes at the least, probably. Maybe they get a Batrider pick or 2, but even if EG give up those kills, they can still take towers. It's nearly guaranteed that they will. As Navi smoke, but I believe they did it under cover of a Radiant Observer ward. And already Zai's retreating out. PPD there to join him. They look for their jump in. They're going to stun.
He's going to self-stun. He might die here.
Zai does give himself up in terms of vision, but FNG didn't turn in time. Now caught by an Ice Pass. That actually on a 3. Oh, man. He did most of the work for EG, and then
they're even getting Funnick.
Funnick dies as well. PPD will shield himself. He may drop to the tower here, even with the stick charges. PPD takes a bruising, but well worth it. 5-1, and it's almost a core Alchemist since he's been just sitting off.
You're absolutely right. This Observer right here, value from EG, giving them 2-for-1 trade, almost getting them the tier 2 tower secured. Zai's going to hit level 6 as a result of it. And we're looking at a 9-minute game, or 8 minutes, sorry, where EG are approaching their first peak of the lineup. Universe is getting close to level 7. He's currently level 6 with a point in Macropyre. Fear's level 7, that's the level 4 Plague Wards. Arteezy now has 4 points in Witchcraft as well as the Exorcism. And at the same time, PPD, he is not too far off his level 6, which means Navi can't just focus him down anymore. The entirety of EG's lineup is just coming together. The strategy here is almost flawless execution so far.
Yeah, and the overall game plan for Navi is they just want to burst heroes down during global, right? But if EG get off to an early start, they get tanky, and finding more than 1 or 2 kills becomes very difficult. It's that, you know, unstoppable force first, immovable object kind of arms race, and right now the unstoppable force is way ahead. Or I guess they'd be the immovable object in that analogy. Either way, they're way ahead. Hey man, what can I say?
Something else?
I'm trying. Okay, that's fair.
Well, we're gonna see EG probably continuing the push here. They're rotating up toward the top lane. Zai doing the classic thing that I believe PPD actually introduced to be common in competitive Dota 2, which is not skilling the reincarnation when you're level 6, but waiting to see whether it's useful first. So if you just want to die, you just die.
I did mention that earlier.
You did?
Yeah. Went on a little soliloquy about it. We are just not, we do not have the teamwork that Navi and EG have shown in this series, but they find Arteezy. Oh, this could be big. Global wasn't used yet though. And now the global used by the Zeus and by the Silencer, kill secured, needed as well.
Yeah.
PPD was about to shield heal and turn that.
Perfect timing on the global here from Quost, and I think it's worth it. Even though it's only 1 kill here, they delay the push quite a bit here by taking out the Death Prophet. Alchemist is in position to defend as well.
That was a haste Arteezy.
They buy themselves a couple of minutes every time they manage to pull something like that off.
And, you know, it's easy for him to just get cocky with the start they've had. He ran up the river. He could have played it safe and ran around. Of course, you can't count on Navi being there, and he was real close to his team, but that's what Navi needs. Just a few more pickoffs. That's where the Zeus can come online. Jesus, Dendy's poor as hell. Does he not have boots yet? Oh, no, sorry, he has arcane boots.
Yeah.
I'm actually...
Yeah.
They're going on fear bottom lane.
Think he's
gets
gonna
off
get
the
out
flame
of
break.
this. Oh, never mind.
In
That's
trouble. They've got
break.
another lightning bolt. Should be almost enough. Get it. Kill secured. They'll bring down the Venomancer, and at the same time, EG pushing top. PPD, Zai, and Universe working on the tier 1 here, and it will fall. Last slice goes to Zai. He gets closer to that.
And you
blink
called
dagger.
that drum, which Arteezy does get it sometimes, but it's not that common anymore. A lot of Death Prophets just choose to rush the Yules, but
I think he bought it after that death, or maybe when he's about to die. Like, he started with just the Null Talisman Bracer. Sometimes we just see the casual Bracer and like, do I need to upgrade it? Well, I guess after that death he felt he did.
oh yeah, this is a scary combo. I don't know if you mentioned that yet, but Ancient Seal together with Zeus is
No, I haven't mentioned.
absolutely crazy. They do have a hood on Fear already though, so he's not the easiest target in the world. I don't know who they're getting the mech on though.
FNG is going to stun himself again. Zai's charging in on the back of this. He has the ult ready to go. Man, look at the Monover just ruining him. They Zeus ult, they pop him. PPD couldn't get the heal off in time. That silencer play, really nice work from Navi. Meanwhile, Fuddick's on the run though. He's being pursued out by Fear, and he gets lashed down by the angry Abaddon. Miscoil securing that kill. Still, I feel like Navi are finding just enough pickoffs that EG should not be feeling comfortable.
Agree. These last few minutes have been looking okay for Navi, but the fact still remains they're losing ground and they're not gaining any. They're trading kills for towers, which is generally not a good sign unless you trade like 3 kills for each tower or something like that, which has definitely not been the case. They're even behind on kills in addition to 3 towers. So, and the more worrying thing for Navi is the itemization that EG can go for here will make it almost impossible. It's going to be like this timing window of 5 minutes where I think Navi are going to be struggling to take a fight. That moment comes when the Yules is done in Universe, the Pipe is done in Venomancer, and maybe even
Arteezy, look for the burst damage mid lane. Mystic Flare almost gets that kill, not quite. If Dendy had his ult, that's a freebie. But Zai instead gets some beautiful body blocks out there, forced to global. Couldn't get another Thunderbolt out onto Arteezy. He was close to being caught, and now they find the Ice Path Bulb. They've committed a global, and they still lose Dendy after that.
At the same time, bottom lane, who's finding who? Well, they're finding each other, and nobody wants to fight, so... Well, that's kind of boring.
Loud noises, but nothing.
This bottom tier 2 is not long for life. It's gonna Gale on Funnick here. Good harassment from Fear. This tier 2 was still not in deny range. Fear's looks like he's trying to avoid attacking it. Look at him holding position on those wards. Just keeping it. They're gonna attack each other.
Even the wards are rebelling. You and I are fighting against each other, now the wards are.
The world is coming to an end.
Nobody's in sync. Let's see if the players can at least be and bail this out. They'll continue to push. And this pipe for Fear should be huge. I mean, you mentioned the timing window, and that to me is probably the biggest part of it. They'll stun FNG bottom lane. They don't actually, well, they do gale him, but I don't know if they really want to go on him. It's more about zoning. Dandy looks to turn this though. He's got his ultimate online, but they don't have the global silence of the silencer, who TP'd in on top of the tower. Havos cannot do that. He is not that 30k net worth gyrocopter from last game. As the stun for FNG is thrown out, Zai will drop again. Never having mana for his ultimate this game. Van score dropping low to Ghost, not finished off. That's another kill for the Zeus of Dendy. His wrath knows no limits as he holds EG off. Unnecessary collateral damage. This Curse of the Silent Max is really ruining Zai. That is 2 deaths now where he didn't even get off reincarnation.
He was looking at his mana pool with Intreads and he had more than enough, so he switched to Strength just to tank a little bit more.
He's bought a Soul Ring.
That's
I hate the silencer so much right now, Soul Ring.
But that Soul Ring is not even a guarantee with the new mana cost and reincarnation. It's 160, so if you're down to 0 on your Soul Ring, you still don't have the mana, then you need to Soul Ring and Tread Switch, and then maybe you can pull it off. But it's not that easy in the heat of the moment to do everything at once like this. And
if you're not sitting on
difficult already so far.
Yeah, and if you're not sitting on straight treads, then you're squishier, right? So there's a better chance you die when you Soul Ring immediately. They did lasso at the same time. There's a smoke gang towards top lane, but Fear gets caught out. He's the pipe carrier, didn't even get to use it. Well, now he did. Still, they chase him down with 1 or 2 more auto attacks. He'd be dead, but PPD's here. Oh, he's a bit too late. And while that was happening, they did lose Havos. A 1-for-1, apparently favoring EG by a decent margin. So Vost is pretty damn farm.
The Yules.
Now the macro pile laying it all down for FNG, and he does not in Chemical Rage anymore. That Alchemist not long for this world. We'll end up dropping.
And it still feels like with every minute EG are gaining more. NAVI are getting some decent trades, but once again, no ground being claimed by them. EG are now effectively farming inside the Dire jungle with Arteezy. That's how much confidence they can play with right now. They went for the pickup on Kvothe, and then he took over his jungle. And you're just looking at a point in the game now where, with the pipe available on Fear, they can group up 5 heroes and just start taking one tower after the other, which there's not that many left already, but how on earth will NAVI take this team fight? It's almost impossible.
I think EG just have to overextend, which they did do bottom. Like, they dove in too far, gave up. The Zai kill was more just not having mana, but the other kill, that was an avoidable one, as Dendy got the trade there with his Thunderbolt on the overextension. The other thing, Sind, is I just feel like EG haven't even played this strategy nearly as polished as what they're capable of, and still they're continuing to just mow down towers. If they execute it flawlessly, and they've got more margin for error now with the pipe, the double Yules that you were talking about as the timing, then there's like almost no chance Navi can burst them down.
And now Fear is going to work on a hit. And at that point, it's just... I don't
too
want
much
to say
heal and
impossible.
sustain.
I'm not going to say impossible. I'm going to say for NAVI to come back at that point, they're going to need Axe and Refresh on Kvothe to win the team fights. Axe is not going to be enough. They will tank through it. Even Dendy with a lot of AoE damage, the pipe can do a lot of work, and then you add on the mech to that, and Baden with a couple of heals and shields. And even Arteezy, when the global silence comes out, he can just Yules himself and not take any of the damage, just turn it around on NAVI. So they kind of have to lasso him even.
Yeah, so they definitely need the double global. Maybe one global's enough to get like 1 or 2 pickoffs, but it's definitely not enough to win a convincing team fight. And at that point with global down, EG can buy back or even just wait for respawns and then really go for the fight. So I'm with you that they'll need the double. But double global is a pretty long way off. Unless NAVI takes a big fight, we're looking at what, like 26 to 28 minutes most likely, at least?
Yeah, at least.
He is close to the first, though.
And the Axe is up in 50 gold, so he will have that for the next team fight, which does make quite a difference. It means he can apply 2 curses at once, of course, which, if landed properly, will deal a lot of damage, but more importantly, drain a hero like the Wraith King and the Abaddon. Abaddon's mana pool is not that good right now. PPD went for the Tranquils, the Urn, and the Magic Wand, so he has to 15-1 charges, but in addition to that, no real mana bank.
EG, are they close to anything else? The mech is very close for Fear, and he's the linchpin of their strategy right now. Having one hero that carries a pipe and a mech, man, if you can burst him down, that is a game changer. But he has reinforcements. He's got the Yule Scepters on his team, and most importantly, the Abaddon. It just puts a lot of pressure on Avos to at least use that first global at the right time to disrupt the fights a little bit. Arteezy's gone in now, though. Yule Scepter to start. Now the silence to follow. Found Havost and can't even get off a global. Will end up melting to the Exorcism. And now the chase on the bank score. NAVI just getting isolated and pulled apart by EG. As they will rotate back towards mid and look for a tier 2. The final outer tower in danger of falling at 18 minutes. They forced out a 9-minute GG from NAVI in their opening game at WEC in that playoff match. And 19 minutes in, Sin, they are... It's not an 9-minute GG, but it's a pretty damn one-sided game to date. A convincing comeback from EG after that game 1 loss, should they push it through to a win, which right now it looks to be pretty heavily slated towards them.
Zai looking for an opening here, and Funnick will not find it. But they got what they came for. They got 2 kills in a tier 2 tower for no trade-off. Arteezy's already in the bottom lane now, farming up and going for the exact item build I was imagining. Maybe apart from the optional drum he got on the way, it's Yule's into BKB, and that's perhaps what EG are waiting for before they want to go tier 3s. That and an Aegis on their team. It's going to be difficult. But I've seen games where Silencer with Axe Refresher just all of a sudden makes your team like twice or 3 times as strong. So should Navi get to that point, I actually think they have a really good chance. So if I'm EG now, I don't relax too much. I want to take more objectives, tier 3s, get Roshan, and eventually some barracks, because
Funny,
they can't really rest now.
That's an awkward place to blink in, because Fear and PPD were on his trail. Courier's going to walk right by him. He got galed from the high ground, then earned. He might tick down the poison damage. He'll be damn close to it. And he doesn't have a teleport scroll. If they saw this, they'll continue pursuit. And they are trying to.
They have Zai on the hunt.
The poison's not, he's not going to have a blink dagger in time.
Oh, wait.
Jukes in the trees, and 1 stun will kill him. Oh! How does he not see him yet? Then he managed to blink. Unbelievable still. He needs to deny himself to neutrals, and PPD's just waiting to end his life with a nuke.
That was legit, though. He bought so much time there.
I really thought Zai would have vision. There was just like the tiniest bit of fog that he kept on playing around with. At the same time, they look for a kill on bottom lane universe. I think it's our first Alchemist stun of the game, honestly. At least it feels that way. More self-stuns.
Very few.
Yeah. More self-stuns than actual stuns. Yeah, he did buy his blink dagger before dying universe. So still a nice pickup for him.
And this is just as comfort zone as it gets for EG, I think. This draft, their position in the game, they now have the mech and pipe finished for Fear. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go for a Rax push on sub 25. They'll still probably claim the Aegis first if they can get away with it, but if there's no opportunity to do that, they might just start pushing for the base. Arteezy with the good timing on BKB. And speaking of Arteezy, FNG with what reminds me of an Arteezy Midas in a specific
on the same hero on the same side of the map.
In the same
in a similar
scenario.
position. Yeah. Oh man, I think this is a game-losing Midas.
The funny thing is, if Navi wins, it's kind of a
real slap in the face.
Really a slap in the face to Arteezy, so that would be kind of fun, but it's not looking good for them.
Can they win this without that Midas? I mean, I don't know. I don't think it matters. If that's a blink dagger, does that change things? Probably not. But EG are just going to go right for the Roche now.
Yeah.
Don't even know if they've seen the Midas. I don't think they care what FNG's items are. They're focused on their game plan, which is you have your mech, you have your pipe, you get Aegis, and then you just go either down mid, down bottom lane, certainly for lane of Rax right from here. You have everything you need and more. BKB is now out on Arteezy, so that particular need has been met. They have the blink on Zai. There's just nothing to wait for. All these items are designed to win the game in the next 5 minutes.
Funnick gonna try for this.
Can
I think
Funnick disrupt their strategy? No.
Plague Lords are following him.
Yeah, couldn't blink in. Would have been very risky. And actually, it's Universe who does blink in.
It's gonna be the old man getting the Aegis.
Considering how much he has, I think that's the right choice. Pipe and mech. And he also doesn't have a BKB, although, I mean, to be fair, he's very durable. But I don't think Arteezy needs it.
I think it's just go time. They see one hero around the middle lane, which is Vanscore, and they see FNG in the top lane. The Acid Spray is not in position, so EG getting a head start on this fight they should have never had, and there's no glyph. This is a lane of Rax right here. They're too late. Now they're too late.
And you can't, it's not like you can really split push. They're trying to with a Skywrath Mage, who did bring down a tier 1, but a tier 1 for a lane of Rax doesn't seem good enough. As they nearly finish off Vanscore, the Ghost will complete that kill along with a final parting auto attack. Curse of the Sun onto Arteezy, but he gets shielded. I'll take some damage here. It's just a clean take. Melee down, range still alive for now. You wait for Exorcism, Sin, you go again, and you have one more take left in you before this Aegis expires. Well, you'll be losing around the time you go for the third push.
To me, that right there was the fight Navi had to try to take, and they didn't do it. And now it's going to be too late. Vost is working on the refresher, which is the potential saving grace, but it's still too far off. It's about 4,000 gold away. He does not have the time to get that. That's going to take him 8 minutes at least, I would say. Probably his GPM right now is probably not way... No, it's not even 500. So 8 minutes, realistically, until that orb is up. They can't wait for them.
EG aren't even waiting for Exorcism. They're just going top right now. They might need it to kill a tower quickly.
And it's going to be level 3 the next time. That was a level 2 Exorcism, mind you. He's going to have the 9 extra spirits on the next one.
Radiant structures are
A lot of bonus
Navi are doing
damage.
what they can. They're going to get at least a tier 1 here, which is some good gold in the bank. Vost gets the last hit, which is very important in this situation in the game.
But that clock is ticking.
It really is.
If Havost had 3 more minutes, he'd probably have his refresher, maybe 5. But EG don't want to give him that for those precious few minutes. With this Aegis, they look to just flat out win the game. I think if you're Navi Sin, you just spend every bit of gold you have. If you can't win this fight with the first global, you're just not winning it.
I would agree. I would say Dendi should even sell his magic one now and buy that veil, because that's perhaps one chance they haven't used that yet that could make a big difference. It will perhaps allow them to burst through the pipe even if they get all their abilities off. Or should they lasso the Veno and then get the global silence off at the same time and then they veil? So there's double Curse of the Silent with the extra mana magic amplification together with Skywrath Ult and the Ancient Seal and all of Zeus's damage. Like, the lineup for Navi is pretty beautifully...
Well, they get initiated on, so hold that thought. It's supposed get scaled. He may have to global at the wrong time. Oh, no, he's dead. Now the lasso, it's too late. He bought back a global immediately. Zeus ult does good work, but Arteezy manages to BKB. He was damn close to death. Fear kept alive, will end up falling. He's the Aegis carrier. Didn't pipe, didn't mech. I think lost all his mana to the double curse, but now he comes back with everything. He is way behind enemy lines though. Pipes, the Aux stun flies through. That drops him low. They'll get the Fear kill. That's actually pretty damn decent for them. The rest of EG may be forced back. I don't know if it's good enough, but it was 3 heroes dead and a buyback on Avos. But hey, they kill Fear without him ever. He got a pipe off right before he died, but without using the pipe when he wanted to, without popping the mech. Good, but maybe not good enough.
I think Navi got pretty much the perfect fight there. They buy back the silencer, so he takes the initial blow and has the buyback and the global. They get amazing damage off from Dendi, who was completely... He had free reign for the entirety of the fight, and they still lost that fight 1-3 and had the buyback.
Uh-oh, FNG might stun himself here. He just walks back, and fortunately the reinforcements march in. Dendi's there with the little Zeus with the big bolts. Unable to find another Thunderbolt, though.
And he's just sticking around here.
The
Pretty confident.
Well, the problem is as well for... They know Global's down, but even if Navi somehow hold this, the refresher has been delayed a lot by that buyback send. And that is still the linchpin of their strategy. I don't even know if refresher is a guaranteed win anyway, because Arteezy alone probably can get to a Rex and just suicide to get it. And it's not like Navi instantly base race you. They don't have a tiny whiz, they don't have much push. They still have to go through tier 1s and one tier 1 and multiple tier 2s. And he's got BKB Yule, so he can remove both of those ultimates.
And arguably the biggest weakness of Navi's lineup against this strategy is should they hold, should they get to the mid-late game, they have no physical damage carry unless if FNG gets extremely big. So Arteezy in that BKB, I mean, 2 global silences are amazing, but you don't care if you're magic immune. You don't take the damage.
And you can just Yules off the other?
Yeah. He has all the solutions right now to all the things Navi has. So it's just a matter of gathering up and finishing the barracks top. I don't think Navi can hold it again.
Navi are determined to skirmish. They made there are not many teams that would go this far out of their base, having used a buyback on Silencer, and only, I guess just now he got global. So at least he would have that for the fight. Their lineup is not the kind of lineup that teams would generally just be running out of the base and looking to pick a fight with. But normally that lineup, you're really biding time for a perfect jump, but they also know if EG gets to the high ground with Exorcism, it probably doesn't matter if they get 4 or 5 kills. They're still losing a second lane of Rex.
Yeah.
Glyph is
and
up,
it's
though.
happening now. He even buys a cloak on Arteezy just in case he doesn't get the BKB off. He blocks some more magic damage, or after the BKB expires.
Oh, what a Yule! So quick. I'm not sure whose that was. I think it was Universe's as the Bat Rider jumped in. Funnick is forced off the fight. Havos wound up dropping. No buyback this time around. And the Ghosts continue pounding into bank score. Arteezy's running them down, looking to make this a 1-1 tie and force a deciding game 3. GG! NAVI, they had the flashy game 1 victory, but EG had the solid game 2 comeback. And this one goes the distance as Zai gets pulled towards the fountain. No D-push, double Midas. They just couldn't fight when they needed to.
No, they did. I really liked the idea of the NAVI draft, and you could see what they were thinking, but once again, they lost too much in the 15 minutes to really show the full potential of the lineup. There was a glimpse of it when you saw the top fight where they almost managed to actually turn, and they did hold, like you said.